Hello and thank you for watching my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to go over the sentiment analysis. So a sentiment analysis, basically it analyzes a large volume of text. So it determines whether expresses the text good or bad. So if you have a data set that has like a lot of reviews, this would be a good analysis to kind of predict of how many are good and how many are bad reviews. So in this case, we have 3 files, and we're going to combine these 3 files using Jupyter Notebook and Python code to combine them into one file, so one data set. Once you have that one data set, then you can go ahead and start cleaning your data and analyzing your data to pretty much determine those outcomes. Also, we're going to be using machine learning and natural language processing, that's NLP, to achieve this process. So right now, as you can see on my screen, I have the code for the libraries. So these are the libraries that you're going to be needing. So I went ahead and ran that code. So now I'm going to download, go next to the download. So these right here, these are what you will need to download if you do not have them already. So this is going to be the TensorFlow, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and run each one to download each of these. And again, if you already have these, you don't need to do this process. Next, I'm just going to go ahead and check my version of the TensorFlow. So you can run this also. It's not necessary, but you know, something that is good of help to know what version you are running on. So right now I'm running on 2.11.0. So next, I'm going to go ahead and import. This is the fun part. I'm going to import the data. So these are the 3 files that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to run these and then kind of go over what this code is. So this is what I'm calling it. I'm calling the IMDb. The next one I'm going to call it Yelp, and the next one I'm calling it Amazon, because these are the files I'm going to be using. I'm telling it to grab my file from this path here. So it's in my C drive, and it's called imdb.text. So that's the actual text file that I'm uploading for each of these. So now it's grabbing each of these and I'm renaming them here, right? So the next, I'm going to go ahead and run these. I'm going to check the IMDb file, just checking the shape. This is how many rows I have. I'm sorry, columns I have. 748 columns and then 2 rows. Next, I'm going to check the next file, which is the, let's see, actually it's the same one, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that here, and I'm going to run it again. So the Yelp, actually, sorry guys, that I didn't even notice it was supposed to be the head. So IMDb head. So now it's just showing me exactly what the file is kind of looking like. So it has 0, 1, so it's 2 columns, and then like I said, it's 748 rows down. So that's what, just looking at it, kind of get a visual of that. Same thing I'm going to do for the Yelp shape one. So this one has 1,000 columns and 2 rows. And as you can see, it has the 2 columns as 0 and 1. So the same thing as the one up here. Next, I'm going to do the same for the Amazon. And again, it's 1,000 and 2,000 columns, 2 rows. So now that I reviewed my file, now I'm going to combine my files together. So merging these 3 files into one. So here is the actual Python code here. So I'm going to call it df_list. So this is my new name. And I'm going to grab in Amazon, IMDb, and Yelp all together. So now my df equals, and then it's going to be pd.concat, and then df list. This is combining and overlapping my columns. Next, I'm going to rename my columns. So as up here, as you can see, it's 0 and 1 for all of these file data sets, but I'm going to rename these to reviews and sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and run that code. Okay, so then once I run that code, you will see now that my columns are now review and sentiment. It's no longer 0 and 1. So now I'm going to look at the df.shape. So again, this is my data set name, because that's what I named it up here, right? df. This is put df.head, which I'm reviewing it. Now dm.shape, this basically shows you the total of rows and columns. So this right here is how many columns I have. So I have 2,748 and then 2 rows, right? So 1, 2. So the columns, just to make sure, I can go back up here, and as you can see in IMDb, I have 748, and then the Yelp, that's 1,000. So add those together, that would be 1,748. And then my next file, Amazon, is 1,000. So that's 2,748, right? So as you can see, when I combined them, this is where 2,748. So all of my columns and rows are together in one. So then now I'm going to go ahead and run the next code. And now you can see in my sentiment column, which is this column here, it's going to show you how many zeros and how many ones I have. So in the ones, I have 1,386. Zeros, I have 1,362. It also gives me my data type, which is an integer 64. Okay, so then next I'm going to run it. So here we're going to do processing of data cleaning, the pre-processing. So this is just a code of checking any null values in your data set. So it's going to check your reviews and sentiment columns and see if there's any null values. So right now they're both 0 null values. So next, so like I said, we're in the process of cleaning this data. So next thing I want to do is I want to drop any values in the data set, NA values, sorry. I'm going to be dropping some NA values in the data set. So you would just use this code to drop any NAs. Changing all words to lowercase. So you have to do this if you want to start doing your sentiment analysis. So all of these DF reviews, which is that column, and your next column, I'm sorry, the same columns. DF reviews equals, because this is what you're naming it, right? The df.string.lower. So this right here is what you need to lower your letters in your data. Instead of uppercase, it's lowercase. So, and then next one would be removing punctuations from the strings of words. So you're going to be removing all punctuations. So this is your code here to remove any punctuations from your code, from your data. Next, you're going to be removing numbers from the text. So you would use this. And then next thing I did is the printing the DFs. This is what I named my data set. So now I'm printing it to check if there's any uppercase, there's no punctuations, anything like that. Okay, so now that looks like it's cleaned up. So now we're going to do stop words. So stop words, if you're not familiar what stop words are, they are words that are very common in a language and do not carry much meaning. So such as and, if, the, of. So removing these stop words is a critical step in a sentiment analysis. So you have to remove these stop words. And in this case, this is what you would be using for that, to remove that. Now, next we're going to be splitting the data set for 80% testing and 20% training. So we're going to do an X and a Y. So reviews, which is that column there, or that row of reviews is going to be at the X, and sentiment column is going to be the Y. Okay, so then we're going to do the testing part, the X train, an X test, and then Y train, a Y test. So this right here, the 0.2, that is meaning that you're training 20%. So if you put 0.5, that would be 50%, and so on and so forth. So now we go ahead and I'm going to run these, making sure everything works fine. Next is the tokenizer and padding sequence. So this is your TensorFlow. This is where we're going to start. So here we're going to go ahead and run it. So we're converting the text data into token vectors. As you can see, every letter here is assigned to a number. So next I'm going to go ahead and run the vocabulary size. So the vocabulary size is 5,170. This code here is what you will use to find out that vocabulary size. So as you can see up here, I have number of words 5,170. So assigning variables and assigning word lengths. So that's what I decided to put my length. You can put a number there, whatever number you wish, but that's the number I used. And again, for me, just verifying that, I went and used this code to verify that vocabulary size. Can't talk today. Okay, so then next I'm going to go ahead and do a plot. So I ran that. As you can see, now it's doing the reviews of basically zeros and ones. So zeros being bad, ones are good. And as you can see, there are some ones that are positive words just a little bit above the negative. So now you can just kind of visualize those negatives versus positive reviews. So that's the end of this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If so, make sure to hit the like button, and if you don't mind, subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.